Hi, Luke. Wonderful to have you here. Would you tell me a little bit about the beginning of your career? Like, when did you start playing RPGs yourself, and which game was it? The very first one you played yourself?
Well, the beginning of my RPG design career. The first game I played, I don't know, it's tough. I think it was Dungeons and Dragons Expert Edition, 1983 or 1982. But we played, that summer was very explosive. We played that, then we Marvel Superheroes, and then Paranoia, Greg Kosikian's Paranoia, all in short succession. Not all with the same people either. So it was very fun. But as soon as I played my first games, I was away on vacation, I came home, I designed my first RPG. I took apart an Avalon Hill game called, I think, Wizard's Island, and it has a beautiful map with caves and things and towers on it, and I designed an RPG right there and went to my friend and said, we have to play these, we have to play an RPG, I'll show you how. And he made a character, and he was maybe a half demon or something, and he had a big helmet, and I remember he would draw as we played, and some gremlins attacked him, and he drew a gremlin on the spike of his helmet. And I wish I had that. That was the first moment of design where I had actually affected someone. It was right there. So, but it's gone, lost to the ages.
Okay. So it was like the first one, and you got the inspiration right away, and then you put it on the paper. Like instant. Yeah. Like I was vibrating to get home and design my own. Okay. So what was the first game you published to be able, to make it for the others to play too?
My first publishing efforts were very modest. I made 10 copies of a science fiction game called Immolation, which means, to be consumed by fire. So it's publishing, it counts. But the first big publishing thing I did was I printed 1,000 copies of Burning Wheel, what we now call Burning Wheel Classic. It was just Burning Wheel then, and it was very dumb. But I made 1,000 of 2 books and tried to sell them to people for $15.
Wonderful. What interests you specifically in game design? Why do you do it?
Somebody asked me this question while I was here at Ropecon, but I'll repeat that I have demons in my head, and they make me do these things. The voices don't stop unless I design the game, so I just try to get the voices to stop. And I just, yes, this is a good idea.
Yeah. So you have to do it. There's no choice really.
Yeah, it's the only thing I'm actually good at, and I'm a tiny bit good at it. So I'm very thankful for that. But in my life, all the other things in my life, I'm very bad at everything. So thankfully, the voices in my head are driving me to do the thing I'm good at.
Wonderful. How about your future plans? Would you tell me where would you be about in 5 years? Or something?
I'll be very old in 5 years. I don't know.
No.
Oh yes, shockingly old in 5 years. I have no fucking clue where I'll be in 5 years. I hope to still be making games in 5 years.
Any special interests in that area?
I'm going to make different games. That's my goal, is to make different types of games going forward.
No specific, fantasy, science fiction,
I don't think like that. I don't think in genre.
Right, so it's just comes to you and then you...
Yeah, I will make more LARPs, I hope, and I will hope, maybe another board game or something, to expand out. But I will also always make RPGs.
Okay,
trust me.
Wonderful. I really also... But it's wonderful that you will also do LARPs. It's a good thing to... I'm very interested to see what it's going to do.
Yeah, I love the LARP medium, and I'm going to publish my first one this year. I think that's going to be the more than even the mechanics of my LARP. I think the way I publish it and the way I make it a kind of a self-contained game that you can with a box that you can put on a shelf and sell. I think that will be the big thing.
That's wonderful.
But yeah, I hope to do more of those. I hope it works.
Wonderful. I'm sure it will. So, do you have any like number one tip what would you like to say for the future game designers or somebody who would like to design RPGs or LARPs if you wish?
Yeah, listen to the voices in your head. Totally. Just if you want to be a game designer, you probably have voices in your head. If you don't have voices in your head, you're probably a mathematician. So, which is cool too. That's a whole other way to go. But yeah, you just let them out and just do it. And make the game. The hardest thing about being a game designer is finishing that game. It's so terrifying to finish a game. So, go with it. Listen to them. They're going to tell you to do crazy things and roll dice or whatever. But then tell them to shut up and finish the game. Right. Even if it's bad, even if you hate it, it's so worth it to finish it because it's not the last game you'll design. It's the first, and you'll get better as you go.
Right. So talking about that, have you made any mistakes yourself?
Yeah, designing role-playing games. That's the biggest mistake I've ever made in my life. Have you tried to publish role-playing games?
No.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Yeah, it must be.
It's the dumbest thing.
Yeah.
Mistakes in games, I try to edit my mistakes out of my published games. I have tons of mistakes. I have a whole cabinet full of mistakes at home that I have not published. So I hope I don't publish any of my big mistakes. But none of my games are perfect. There are flaws in all of my designs, but I try to be honest with myself and recognize them for what they are and think about how to design differently in the future. But I like the mistakes that I've made that are in public. I like them. I'm okay with them.
So, for the lighter questions now, was this your first time in Finland?
First time in Finland.
How was it? Would you tell me?
I have a friend in my gaming circle who is fresh off the boat from Finland in New York. So he, would tell me a lot about Finland. He told me all sorts of mad things, like about how he played tag with axes when he was a kid. They would throw axes at one another. So and that you could legally carry a crossbow in Helsinki. He told us these things. I don't know if they're true. I have no idea. But so we had a very crazy idea of what Finland was all about. But I've liked it very much. It's Meryl and I have been talking about it, and we've decided that it is really this liminal space. It's this space between all worlds. It's not the space between like Scandinavia and Russia and Europe. It's a space between like dimensions, and it seems like these are people and places that are very familiar. But once you get close, everything is very different. So yeah, it's been nice. It's we've been treated so well here at Ropecon, and even my friend Topi took us around Tampere and Hamelina and all these great places. So forgive my terrible pronunciation. But yeah, I've enjoyed it very much, and I'm inspired to explore the region.
Wonderful. So how was the Ropecon in particular? As a convention,
I felt like I was.
Was it okay?
Yeah, I felt like I was home.
Really?
Yeah, I was shocked by how comfortable I felt at Ropecon. Just the cosplayers, the stinky, sweaty guys outside with no shirt on. The stinky, sweaty guys with shirts on in the card hall, like the wargaming hall, the tiny rooms, with role players where you have to shout to be heard. All very familiar. Different setting, obviously. We don't have quite as picturesque a setting for many of our cons. But yeah, I felt like I was home. Even though I couldn't understand the language, I knew what everyone was saying.
Wonderful. It's kind of role plays are like this international language.
Yeah, absolutely.
Able to understand.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but
yeah,
yes.
So would you have any greetings for the future Ropecon 2015? Was it worth it? Would you recommend somebody to come here as a guest of honor, or otherwise too?
Absolutely, yeah. Turn down all other offers from any other opportunity you have that conflicts with Ropecon. Come here first, and go to Lapland. I hear it's great in the summer.
Lots of mosquitoes, at least. Yeah, but it's supposed to.
But no, seriously. Yes, I wish I could get invited back to Ropecon as guest of honor every year.
Wonderful, thank you. Look, I think it's a good place to finish
Great.
this interview.